Hey, Slider Crusaders. So this fake outrage over Trump's tax returns, it's totally absurd. First of all, I have no doubt that he leaked his 1995 tax return to the New York Times himself. I'll explain that coming up in just a second, but just a few points generally. First, show me the person in the country who pays more in federal income taxes than they need to. I'd love to meet that person. Who's the person who has their accountant call up and say, hey, listen, Charlie, you owe $10,000 to the IRS. And Charlie says, well, I'll tell you what, how about $20,000? They can keep the change. That never happens. Everyone pays as little as possible. Look at Obama and Hillary's tax returns. None of them pay a 35% income tax rate. They always pay under that as little as possible. What Trump did on his taxes in 1995 is in no way illegal. It's not even a loophole. And in fact, it's the same thing that Hillary did in 2015 when she declared losses of $700,000, and it's what the New York Times did in 2014. Second point, remember back in 2012 when Mitt Romney said that 47% of people don't pay taxes, and the left freaked out. They said, oh, well, yeah, sure, they may not pay federal income taxes, but everyone pays sales taxes or property taxes and all these other taxes. Yeah, same thing here. Trump may not have paid federal income taxes for a couple of years, but he pays sales taxes and city taxes and state taxes, and the big one for a real estate developer, property taxes. Can you fathom the hundreds of millions of dollars that he has paid in property taxes over the decades? Trump pays more in taxes every year than most people will ever earn in their lifetimes. So enough with this self-righteous, oh, he never pays taxes stuff. That is so disingenuous. All right. But here's the real story here. I think that Donald Trump leaked these tax returns himself. It's the return of John Miller. Do you remember a couple months ago, this was during the primary, the Washington Post released audio that they thought would crash Trump's campaign. It was audio of Donald Trump pretending to be a PR guy, John Miller, talking to a reporter from People magazine. Do you remember this? And the Washington Post released this audio thinking that it would embarrass Donald Trump. Well, this is Megyn Kelly talking with that People magazine reporter who John Miller was talking to.
Megyn, the main thing here is that I didn't leak the tape, and there were two people on the conversation.
Wait, you taped it because you're a reporter doing your job?
Yeah, and I lost the tape.
Were you the only one with a copy of the tape?
Yes.
When did you lose it?
Back 25 years ago.
Could somebody have stolen it?
No. It was in my house, and then I moved apartments.
So who else would have had a copy of the tape?
Donald Trump.
Wait a minute. So you're suggesting Trump leaked this to the Washington Post?
Yes.
Why?
You got me. He's done stranger things.
Because he loves publicity?
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that he may want us talking about this right now because it generates a news cycle, perhaps?
Hello, Donald.
Same thing here. So why would Trump leak his own tax return? A couple of reasons. First, it takes Miss Universe out of the headlines. And also people can talk about the absurdity of the tax code. Trump wins. Second reason, it eliminates the #1 talking point that Hillary has against him, that he won't release his taxes. Well, here they are. Or at least enough of them to eliminate the talking point. Trump wins. Third point, this is the big one. Let's say Donald Trump released his tax returns the old-fashioned way, like every other presidential candidate has. Well, then every newspaper would have them and just publish them. Well, what does he get out of that? No, Trump's always got to get something out of the deal. Now, a month ago, the executive editor of the New York Times was talking to some students at Harvard, and he said that he would risk going to jail to publish Donald Trump's tax returns. Even if it was illegally obtained, he would do it, even if it meant he would go to jail. Trump called his bluff. He leaked those returns to the New York Times. They took the bait, published them illegally, and now the editor of the New York Times might go to jail. Trump wins. It's not a secret that he lost $1 billion in 1995. This is the opening sequence of season 1 of The Apprentice.
It wasn't always so easy. About 13 years ago, I was seriously in trouble. I was billions of dollars in debt. But I fought back, and I won.
Now, that was in 2008, and he said 13 years ago, he was $1 billion in debt, which would be 1995. None of that's a secret. But he played the Times like a fiddle, and now they're in huge legal trouble. One last point. Why would, and most people think the IRS leaked this to the New York Times. Why would the IRS or anyone in the IRS only leak 1 year of Donald Trump's tax returns? And if it's 1 year, why 1995? Well, Trump released that year because that was the year he lost $1 billion. And that gives context to the next 18 years of why he didn't pay federal income taxes. Let's say someone at the IRS leaked 1996's income taxes. Well, that would show that he didn't pay federal income taxes, but there would be no context as to why he didn't have to. The 1995 tax return gives context, the $1 billion in business losses. And that's why he didn't have a federal tax liability for all these years following. Does that make sense? So those are all the reasons why he leaked the tax returns, and specifically why he leaked 1995. He did this all himself. And in the end, the New York Times editor might go to jail for it. It's brilliant.